Hi, friends. Welcome to Enlightened World Network. Dr. Ruth Anderson and Sue Broome here for messages from your loved ones. We're so pleased to be here and so pleased to have you all with us. What we do for this show is that Sue and I, first of all, have conversation about energetic and spiritual concepts surrounding death and passing over. And as folks come in to Messenger, not Messenger, the what's it called?
Facebook?
Facebook, yes, Facebook comments on this. And they add information about who they would like to receive a message from, somebody that they have loved and lost. Then we divert our attention, and Sue has a wonderful deck of cards that she created called Messages from Your Loved Ones. And she waits to hear an answer from those, and then we just check in on the energy of your loved one. So if there's somebody you would like to hear from, please put that information in the comments. And also, if you would just like a message from your spirit guides, we do that as well. So thank you for being here. Sue Broome, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I always enjoy this. Our time together is so much fun, and I think the conversations are enlightening in many ways. They are, and I think they speak to people's souls. Yes, it speaks to their heart too, but I think it really speaks to their souls, and I love the messages that come through from the loved ones.
I do too. I do. So somebody had asked us to spend a little bit of time today because they have had folks that they have cared about to transition, and they were hoping for some counsel on grief and emotional balance and how to get through when you've lost somebody that you care a great deal about. So I had a couple of thoughts on that. Sue, would you like to start talking about some of that?
Sure. It's, of course, everyone is different. One of the things, though, that I have learned over the years is if you know someone who has lost someone, and the word lost is kind of someone has transitioned. So they're no longer here in the physical. The people that are left behind, they have so much support initially, and then it starts to dwindle off. And I think it's, if you know someone who has recently, maybe it was their spouse or their grandparent or their child or a sibling, if it's been a few months, it's still okay to contact them and say, hey, how you doing? Or just get together with them, and you can feel out the conversation to see if they're open to having a conversation. Sometimes they might not be ready. Sometimes you might say something and you can see that there's, oh, I'm so glad you asked kind of response. So I think everyone's going to be different, but keep in mind that the first year, there's so many firsts. There's the first birthday, there's the first Mother's Day or Father's Day, or whatever family gatherings, birthdays, anniversaries. The first year with all the firsts, that's when, and I'm getting chills, it's when people really tend to notice that the emptiness, the missing of them. And always having conversations, that's, I think, having the conversations and bringing up the person's name, or talking about something that made you laugh. Laughter shifts the energy and helps people move through the grief. Grief isn't ever going to go away, but to move through it, having those memories, or pulling out, oh, show me a picture, or show me you know, whatever it is, it really helps people with the transition of their loved ones, in my findings.
I think the first holidays are just killers, actually. Really, really tough. Oh, yeah, Prachetta, perfect timing. Glad that you're here. Yes, and I know, Sue, sometimes you have spoken about, let's say it's the holidays or their birthday, and setting a place for them at the table.
Mhm.
And just, and I'm getting goosebumps now, just welcoming their spirit in, welcoming their love in.
Mhm.
And I remember at times thinking the more you love someone, the more you grieve, the more it hurts. And in some strange way, I just remember being so grateful to have loved someone so much that it hurts that bad, because not everybody gets the chance to truly love someone. So sitting in that gratitude.
Mhm. And I don't know if you heard it, but when you said, set a space or light a candle or said, my chime started going off like crazy.
Mm.
So, yeah, absolutely. Or even at birthdays, celebrate, like, I know that the neighbor, she's gonna go out and do something special with a friend on her husband's birthday. So, and she's excited. She thinks it's really cool. Yeah, we're going on his birthday. It's like, yeah, that is really cool.
Yeah, lovely.
Mhm.
Perchetta, if you wanted to hear from a loved one, just let us know. We're happy to do that.
Well, then let's hear from Pachetta and say, and ask the question, what did you do to help with the transition of either your parents or someone else that you know? What helped you move through, or what helped, or maybe somebody that, oh, this is what really helped them. So, curious minds.
Well, and also the topic of honoring endings. When you're literally honoring the ending at the time, it's so raw because it's just happening right then. And it just seems to me that those first couple days to that first week, it's such a raw time, and you sort of can't help but escape the reality of what's happening right then. I mean, so much of life we can kind of, ignore and just kind of go about our day. But when you are in that thick of the passing and the day or two after, you can't get out of it. I mean, that's a tricky time for folks, having lived through it myself. What can you do in that week to help support yourself? Any ideas on that, Sue?
Well, for yourself, I think it's a time when honoring yourself in that, if you want quiet time, like if you need to go take a nap, or if you just want to sit and have a cup of tea and be with your thoughts. And I think that is really important, but I think for other people, I think it's also important to, like, if you are with a friend who just lost someone, to realize that having, like, chatter going, sometimes it's just, what, I just want somebody to be here, and we don't have to have conversation. How some people are, they feel like they have to be talking, or somebody has to be talking all the time. And it's just like, well, I just want your company. And that doesn't mean that either one of us has to talk. And I think honoring that in the other person and just being with them. I think that's important too.
Yeah. Really just being there together. Yes.
Mhm.
Burchett is just sharing that her mother passed away during COVID, or COVID was just coming in. And so that threw everything for a loop, and all of her last rites were done in a hurry. Right. With COVID, folks didn't get to do the typical things that you do when a loved one passes. And it made it so it was really hard for folks to grieve. They couldn't go do a funeral. I mean, it was just unconscionable, but folks didn't get to grieve in the way that they were used to. So that, and it was a time of turmoil across the planet on top of that. So yeah, I think there's probably a bunch of PTSD from folks that lost somebody during COVID.
Well, and I think that anytime, yes, that was horrible. I think what they did, not allowing people to be with their loved ones, horrific, in my opinion. But anytime you are not with a loved one as they transition, you know, maybe it's somebody that's across the world, or maybe it's somebody that you're out, you know, you're on the outs with, or for whatever reason, you left the room to go to the bathroom
Right.
and you weren't there. Like I put it in my book because I wasn't with my mom when she passed, and I wasn't with my brother when he passed. And I have done meditations for each one separately because I wanted to be with them when they transitioned. And so now I remember it very differently than, my dad coming home and say, your mom's gone. It's like, no, I was in the room with her when she passed. And I still saw it as a hospital room. That's just how the meditation went for me, but I saw her spirit actually leave her body. So anybody can do that. And it may seem like, well, that sounds really, not gonna feel like anything. It's like, our minds are so powerful. The visualizations, the imagination, our brain doesn't know whether it's real or Memorex, that old commercial. So if you go into a meditation and you are with them, holding their hand, or, rubbing their forehead, whatever it is, you are truly with them.
And how healing that must have been for you.
Mm-hmm. I had my brother, the brother who passed away. He said, Susie, I didn't know you were with Chris when he died. I started laughing. I said, Steve, did you read the whole book? Did you read that it was a meditation? I did. It was so fun. But it truly, when I think about Chris dying, and of course, when Chris passed, I was, 8 years old or something. And I see that whole scene very differently than us being out at my cousin's house because we were all a bunch of kids. So yes, it's very healing. And, so do it once, and if you think, oh, whatever, or do it a couple times. And I think it's not only healing for us, but it's also healing for our loved one. Because they can bring us comfort through that, and they also get comfort from that.
So that's a fascinating concept, that our meditations here could be healing to someone we love in spirit.
Mm-hmm. Well, look at it so my mom leaves when I'm 13 years old. And if say that I'm angry or just every time I think of her, I'm just like, oh my gosh, she was, whatever. She feels the pain that I'm feeling as well, because it's like when we feel the pain, it's like stopping the expansiveness of what our love could feel like. So when we are able to feel less of the pain and more of the expansion of that love for them, it just opens up a whole new realm for the connection that we have with them.
I understand that. I think only because of an experience that I witnessed. I was doing a reading for someone in my home, and she walked in and she immediately started crying. And her son appeared in spirit form right next to her. And he, like, literally took her face in his hands and he kissed her on the cheek and he said, "Mom, stop crying." I is like, "I'm fine, I'm okay." He had taken his own life. And he said, "I'm fine. Stop crying." And he was aware of how much she had been crying since he passed. So that's the only way I can understand what you're saying about them experiencing what we're experiencing here emotionally. Because I tend to think that they're emotionally in a good place, and he actually was emotionally in a good place. But he did experience her sobbing daily. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that my speculation, but yes, I feel that they're fine. They're fine because it's such a blink of an eye that we're here and they can feel our pain. It's an and statement. It's not an or, it's an and statement. And for us, maybe we're only feeling the pain and it's difficult to feel the love, but they're both going to be there. Grief is still going to be there. There's still going to be pain, but it's kind of like okay, this is not trying to compare this, but if you stub your toe, it hurts it really hurts when you do it, but a week from now, it's not going to hurt so bad. Grief is always going to be there, but right when it happens, it's the support that you can get from your loved ones is amazing.
Yes. Very true. My mom came to me in spirit the week before she died. And she gave me a kiss on the forehead and she said, "I love you and I'm going to be fine." And then she died. So, yes, I do see that. All right. Prachetta. So Prachetta shared, and Linda, if you would like to hear a message from a loved one, please share that information in the comments. Prachetta's niece, who is Prachira's daughter, graduated from school with a 97.6%. She made the family so proud. She's got the highest grades in her school, the second highest in the state.
Wow.
And Prachetta would like us to tell her parents. And Prachetta, I want to say to you, I think they already know.
The celebration and the proud, it's already going on.
Yeah. It's already happening. They don't miss much, Prachetta. They really don't miss much at all.
No, it's kind of like people that say, when grandpa died and 2 weeks later the baby is born and if he only could have met the baby, it's like, he already met the baby. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah, he was holding the baby. It's all good. Yep, it's all good. And Perchetta would kindly like a message.
From mom, dad, anybody from,
I'm feeling a spirit guide, actually, more so than mom and dad. I think mom and dad are just enjoying along with you, but I'm thinking a guide.
all right, I like that. I like that. Hmm. I'm seeing two colors. Deep purple, kind of like this, but more with light and pink. Kind of a fuchsia pink. Those are the two colors that I'm seeing. The card is there is a healing of our hearts. So what it is, it's like I'm seeing an intertwining of love and wisdom and knowledge. And it's like, Rachetta has guides around her where the light, it's like if you were stringing light and you could see it in the dark, but you could see the line that it leaves, it like leaves a ribbon. It's almost like, and there go the chimes. This ribbon of light is going in and out around your heart, but it's also going in and out around you.
Mm.
And it's almost like you don't have to look for it. It's like you just have to be in it. There's so much love, there's so much wisdom, and the wisdom, it feels like there's wisdom from your ancestors and from your past lives that is weaved into this. So it's stop looking for it, be in it. And if you don't know how to be in it, pretend that you are in it,
Because you are in it.
because you are in it. Mhm.
Yeah. That's very rich. If you just allow yourself to just feel that, it's really very rich. She feels protected as well. You should, Perchetta. Yeah. Beautiful, Sue. It was beautiful. Perchetta, this was interesting because what I saw was a Ferris wheel. And I'm guessing y'all have Ferris wheels in India. But it's like an amusement park and you sit in a little car and you just go around in the circle, I don't know, 5, 6 times, and then you come down to the bottom and you get off. And they were showing me that this is interesting. While we're living, we're going around in the Ferris wheel. And as we get closer to our time to get off the Ferris wheel, like we're going to transition to another lifetime, we get older and we get off the Ferris wheel, but we don't leave the area of the Ferris wheel. We watch those we love as they're continuing their time around the Ferris wheel. And what I'm seeing is you and your brother and other family members are all still on the Ferris wheel. And your niece is lower down on the Ferris wheel because she's newer into this lifetime. And y'all are going around, and your parents and other ancestors and loved ones are watching from down below. They haven't gone very far. They're just watching as you're taking your turn. It's your turn. And it's your niece's turn. And your parents are so right there because they're at the Ferris wheel. It was interesting. I've not ever thought of life as a Ferris wheel before.
Well, sometimes it does feel like a wheel. That we can't get off.
I can't get off. Yeah. Ah,
That's pretty interesting.
yeah. I like that idea though of our parents and loved ones just watching us as it's our turn.
Yeah,
Yes.
you know, it's because they're watching us as that's all going on, but they're still doing their learning as well. It's because I know that we just it's hard for us to wrap our brains around that, but yeah.
Right. There is a piece about being on the Ferris wheel and it's your turn. And while you're still taking your turn, just missing everybody else that used to be on the Ferris wheel so much that you're not enjoying your turn. You're not living your life because you're just so caught up in who all has left you. So make sure you take your turn. Enjoy your turn. And she said, will my parents wait for us to step down? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep.
They're very proud of you and your niece. And they're just watching. Yeah.
Well, and the interesting thing is, if we want them to be there when we transition, and if we don't want them to be there, because I know some people that they do not, there's certain people, they do not want them anywhere near when they transition. And they won't be, you know, but if you want them there, they'll be there.
That's nice. We get some say.
And you don't have to consciously even say it. It's like your soul knows. Can I say something too about what we were talking about before? And one of the things that we forget about, or maybe haven't thought of it this way, is when someone transitions here and they're fully in spirit, we might be grieving here, but they're having a celebration.
Right.
And so I think in the last several years, you know, everybody used to call it a funeral. And I don't hear people call it a funeral. They call it a celebration of life. And I think that is an awesome way of looking at someone's transition, because yes, they're celebrating over there because now they're in spirit. They don't have to, you know, they don't have to put up with especially if they had a lot of pain in their bodies. They don't feel that anymore. But when we celebrate, it's like we are celebrating their life, their experiences, that, you know, and it's such a different send-off than everybody being in such grief, like a funeral. Even saying the word funeral, it just kind of brings the whole vibration down, versus a celebration of life. You know, they lived an awesome life. They had a lot of kids, they had a lot of grandkids, they did a lot of things, and they loved life every single day. They just loved life. So
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. The celebration. Perchetta is wondering, and Linda, we'll get to you in just a minute. Perchetta is wondering, in case her parents do a rebirth before Perchetta and Perchetta dies, will they still be there in spirit to welcome them back?
yes. We look at time so differently, past lives, future lives, but it doesn't exist. Time is a man-made thing. So in spirit, it doesn't exist. So we can be living multiple lives at the same time. We've had future lives, we got future life, we've had past lives, we got future lives. We might be, multi extra dimensional lives all going on at the same time now. But yes, if they are reincarnated, you're still gonna be there to meet you. What do you have to say about that, Miss Ruth?
I believe that that's true as well. Yeah. In the same sense that I believe Archangel Michael can be with me, and Archangel Michael can be with you, and Prachetta, and everybody else in the world at the same time. I think spirit is spirit, and I don't know that spirit is kept to the same laws of physics that we are, that you can only be in one place at one time. I don't think spirit works that way.
No. Not at all. You think about air. Is there only one bit of air to breathe? Think of a drop of water. Put a drop of water in a glass or in an ocean. Where is that? Where is it? It's all over.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that too. So Linda Michelle is joining us, and Linda Michelle would love to hear from Nicholas or Nick, and her parents. So I think we should do Nick first.
Mhm.
What do you think? Is that all right?
Mhm. Yeah, and then the parents, it feels like, I don't know, I'm feeling like one card for the parents,
Yeah. I
but
think so.
one card for Nick. Yes. Nick first. Right, let's see what Nick has. Notice the animals around you. I always love this. It feels like a couple things. It feels like there was a special connection that Nick had with animals, and whether it was wild animals or pets. I'm kind of feeling like it was all. But I also feel like there's times when you might be outside doing something and he's on your mind, and all of a sudden you hear a beautiful bird starting to sing, or a hummer will come right and be in your face, or another bird will just swoop really low. It's like, man, that bird almost hit my head. Things like that. I think there's or even insects, you're outside gardening and all of a sudden there's a fly that just keeps buzzing at you, but you were just had this memory of where you and Nick are doing something, and it doesn't matter what the memory was, but all of a sudden there's an insect or a dragonfly or a butterfly right there. And so I think that there's I think you'll start to notice, if you haven't already, noticing animals and insects and birds just being there. So that's what I'm getting.
Linda, I would love to know who Nick was to you. A brother, a friend. I got a fish. First, I got a fish. As I'm looking at this fish, it's like a trout, which is what we catch in the lakes here. And I got fishing. And what I'm getting is Nick. I don't know if Nick liked to fish here, but Nick is having a great time in the ethereal realm, and fishing is a part of it. And I got that Nick was very comfortable being alone in nature, her forever 15-year-old son.
Mm.
Oh. I got that Nick is very comfortable fishing in the ethereal realm. And then my questioning was so does Nick like being alone? I got very comfortable being alone. And then at the same time, I'm getting Nick with lots and lots of different souls. And I think Nick is having a great time. Oh, she's got a tattoo of him fishing. Are you kidding me?
That is awesome.
Okay. Okay. Total goosebumps on that one. I think he's having a great time and he is enjoying the folks there. And I think he's showing us one thing, which is that the ethereal realm can be what we want it to be. And for him, it's fishing and spending time with those that he likes, and also preparing a place for you when it's time. I think there's things that Nick is going to want to be showing you when it's time for you to be there. So thank you for that validation about the tattoo of him fishing, because boy, that flopping fish just came in real quick there.
Well, and of course, fish are animals too.
They certainly are.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, great validation all the way around on that one. Okay, so your parents.
Parents. Yeah, and there go the chimes again. I don't know, are your chimes set up? I can't.
You know, I had to set them up in the outside room.
Yeah.
He is a strong soil and will talk freely. Strong soul and will talk freely. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is a strong soul. Yeah.
All right, that card kind of. It was very strange. I've never had that happen, where the card, it literally dropped from the bottom of the deck onto my table.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, Sue, before we move on,
Okay.
Linda, I'm getting some words about your son, Nick. Was that he couldn't stay here. Whatever that means. He couldn't stay here. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna, because I know it's just my mind going, but okay, parents. I feel your prayers of love. You know, and the word prayer, for people that might not pray, people that, a prayer is a loving thought. A prayer is a loving energy that you are sending out. And our loved ones feel that they can feel it, but it's like the word I'm hearing is boomerang, and that's not quite it, but it's like when we are sending prayers of love out to them, they are also, it's like it's being amplified and coming back to us. And they can feel it, but if you were to sit quietly and just take a breath or two, you could feel their love, their prayers coming back to you, enveloping you in love and healing, and just a knowingness that you're still connected. I feel like they were so supportive of you in so many ways, and sometimes they might not have been. This I feel like is more from your dad. he might not have been able to show you that as much, but he definitely felt it.
Linda, I saw with your parents a very large garden party in the ethereal realm, and your parents are hosting and having a delightful time, and just the more the merrier. Come on in, friends, come sit with us. Yeah, she said I was his angel, dad's angel. Yeah. And I'm just getting lots and lots of folks and friends and loved ones on their part. You know, Linda, when it is your time to go, you will never have a lack of anything to do while you're there. The loved ones that you've got over there are really making the most of this. They always hosted and had a glorious backyard on a river. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. And they still have a glorious backyard. They might have a river for all we know. I'm not sure about that, but
I think that's where Nick is fishing.
yeah, it might be. Might be. They're probably close by each other. Yeah. Yeah. You know, we've heard from several folks, both in spirit and out of spirit, about what life is like in the ethereal realm, and hearing that we get to create what we want to create, and we get to hang out with the folks we want to hang out with. And we get to keep an eye on what's happening over here, and we get to keep growing and learning over there. Sounds all right to me.
Mm-hmm.
It helps to not be fearful of what it's going to be like.
Well, and that sums it up. It truly is what we make of it, you know? So yeah, if we want to be fishing, if we want to be having family gatherings in the backyard, if we want to be walking in the woods, if we want to be, you know, whatever it is, we have a say so.
Right. Now, this is funny, Linda. My family, we drink out of mason jars. I just think it's kind of cute. But so what I'm seeing on the table is the glass mason jars, and there are so many different mason jars with different fresh flowers in them. It's like that's what is being used to decorate. It's very cute. Linda said I was with both parents when they passed and begged them to find Nick and tell him how much I miss him and love him. I do believe they're together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to be on this side of the realm and loving so. Linda, you're making me crazy. Her mom was a florist.
So funny.
Holy cow. Wow. It's hard being on this side of the realm and missing folks so much that are in the other realm. I understand. I really do. Yeah. There's going to be one heck of a party when you get there, is all I can say. Your mom was a florist. That's hysterical. Yeah. Linda said, this is wow. So much validation. Yeah, there's a lot of validation coming in today. Absolutely. Yep. And Robin joined us. Robin, if you want to hear a message from a loved one, please let us know. Yeah.
So, can we ask the group, you know, anyone, what have you done to honor your loved one after they transitioned? You know, what do you do? What have you done, or what do you do on a regular basis to honor your loved one? I'm curious, but
Yeah. Okay. So Kirsty Elizabeth joined us, and she would like to know if there's a message from Sally. Jude and Judy, I see your message, and Robin, I see your message. So perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so Kirsty and Sally. Yeah, Sally's. Ooh, I like this one. Hear the chimes. You know, the chimes are just one way. Because it's so, I mean, when they start going off, it's obvious, but so I think Sally enjoys sending messages in different ways, and sometimes it's almost like, and we have to, when we notice things, paying attention to, are we missing her? Are we thinking about her? And all of a sudden in another room, you hear something drop and you go and it's like nothing dropped. Or you hear the chimes go off all of a sudden, or you hear, where did that bell sound come from? You know, and you hear different things and it's like, hey, where is that sound coming from? And sometimes it's overhearing a conversation, but I think it feels more like there's things that go on in your house where there are sounds, whatever those sounds might be, that is Sally's way of getting your attention. And it might be when you're out someplace as well, but it feels more like it's when you are at home, when you are in a place where your mind is kind of off, just being dreamy. Not that you're dreaming, but it's just like you're maybe imagining or thinking of a memory, and all of a sudden you hear something. Just notice those, pay attention to those, because Sally is definitely, I think she's quite active, is how I'm hearing it, how I'm feeling it.
Kirsty, I would love to hear who Sally was in this lifetime to you. The first thing I saw was a dog. I thought, well, that's interesting. But what they were showing me, and if you've got dogs, you know this, they want to be in your space and they want to be as close as they can. And one of my dogs wants to breathe the same air that we're breathing. I mean, he just cannot get close enough. And that's what Sally's energy feels like to you. So I don't know if Sally was a twin in a past life. I don't know if she was a best friend, a sister as a best friend, but I do believe this was not your first time with Sally in this lifetime. And I do believe that you all are thick as thieves. At least you have been, and that energetic imprint of being so close is still in this lifetime. So I would love to hear her sister-in-law. Okay. I do not think this was your first time together. Just saying.
No, as soon as you said that, I saw two little girls doing, you know, what is it, the pinky swear or something?
Yeah. Yep. Lovely. I love dogs. Judy Kniss. Let's see. She would like a message, please.
From anybody or just a message? Just a message.
If Judy got back to us. No, just a message.
Okay.
And let's see. So after Judy, we've got Robin. We've got a couple messages of things that folks do to honor their loved ones. Kim would like a message. Oh, Judy wants to hear from Gary. Thank you, Judy, for saying that. And then Harshita's got a special request, and then that's going to finish up our time together. So,
Okay. From Gary. Notice the flowers I sent you. So this is, of course, the flower that came to mind is a rose, and I'm not really a rose person, but it truly was a rose, where it was just like the rose bud that was just starting to the open, the outside petals were just starting to come apart a little bit, but there was a big part of the rose on the inside. But yes, there's flowers that you might see, like the beautiful flowers that are behind Ruth there. But there's also the scent, noticing the scent, because sometimes it's like you get just the smallest of scents, and sometimes it's really like, whoa, where did that come from? And just savor those moments, whether it's a beautiful flower that you're seeing in an unexpected place, or if you are getting the scent of a flower that you love. Ruth and I were talking before about lilacs. Both Ruth and I love the scent of lilacs. Is there a scent of a flower that you love that maybe it's like, wow, I just smelled, lilacs. You just smelled something that you haven't smelled in a while. It brings a smile to Gary's face when you notice them. It's like, and I think so I'm almost getting like, he's discovering that he can do this. It is, because on the other side, in spirit, there are things that they can do that we can't. And I think that he's just discovering that he can do this. So just notice that. I feel like he's quite proud of himself. That's what it feels like.
he's quite proud of himself. I love that. I love that. Well, it was interesting, Judy, because what I first got was a vision in black and white, like a movie from the 1950s. And I was getting smoke, like folks were smoking, which to me is also kind of 1950s, more so nowadays. It felt like husband energy. I have no idea who Gary was to you in this lifetime, but it also felt like old time, been around together for a long time energy. And so again, I don't believe this was your first lifetime together. I believe you've been together as husband and wife before. And I believe you're probably going to be around together again if you want to be. And when Sue said something about smelling, and I got a cardigan out of the sweater that smells like him. Old-timey love going on here. Let's see. Okay. So a couple people wrote in things that they've done. Let's see. Kim created a memorial garden for her mother with a magnolia tree and beautiful flowers. Oh, I want to create a memorial garden. I love that idea. Robin says, I talk to them daily. This one I don't understand, Robin, because I'm trying to envision this. I have a rock with a hole tied to the fan. When it hits us in the head, I mention them. I'm thinking it's a small rock. I'm trying to envision that. Robin says, I see signs and thank them for being around me. Yes. Lovely. Okay. Okay, Robin says, and Kim will get to you, and Harshita will get to you. Robin would like to hear from Kent, please.
It's funny because I hang stuff from my fans all the time. And there's like one in front of the door that I can walk under and then hit me. Other people.
That's funny.
Okay. Oh, okay. This card was on the top of the deck and it did not want to go into the shuffle as you shuffle, it just did not want to go in. So this, you are enfolded in my love. Wow. That word enfolded is such a powerful word. It's like there's comfort that he sends you. It's more than if someone is behind you and they're hugging you and you can feel that. It's more than that. There's so much it's even more than like a blanket, like a warm blanket coming out of the dryer on a cool night. It's more than that. It's like this, it's almost like a permeation of love. It's like they're surrounding you with love, and then it's melting in. It's almost like you can slowly feel the love coming into the cells of your body. And as that happens, there's popping memories of Kent, of different things that you had done with Kent. That's what it feels like, almost like a fireworks of memories that are popping off as the unfoldment of love is happening. It sounds very cool.
Robin, what I was getting with Kent is newer energy than Judy's is. It was, whereas Judy's felt like husband to me, and she actually said Gary was my husband. There we go. And he knew I love flowers. Thank you for that validation. Kent's energy is younger, fresher with you. I was getting a wooden smell, like you go, like if you're going into a cabin, nobody's been in the cabin for a while, and you open the doors and you get the wood smell that's in there. And the message that I was getting was, go to the closet, open it up, bring out his things, whether it's a photo of him, whether it's a book he wrote, whether it's a cardigan he wore, something, and bring it out. Don't keep his things, don't keep his memories in a back closet somewhere. Bring him out. Have him be part of your living. Does that make sense, Sue?
It does, because I know when someone transitions, there's there's a lot of clothes that you might just get rid of, but there's certain ones that had such meaning or such still smells like him. And to pull it out, and I know I know that it's like, just pull it out and just smell and just be in that. you know, whether you're doing it really or you're doing it in your imagination, be in that feeling. Yes.
Kent is not, he's not ready to be not remembered. Yeah. He wants to be part of your life still. Yeah. Okay, so Kim and then Harshita. So Kim Tsai would like to hear from her mother. And Robin said, yes, that resonates. So thank you, Sue.
With yesterday being Mother's Day,
Mhm.
my most favorite picture of my mother was me as a baby that popped up in my memories of Facebook. And as I was shuffling, Kim wanting a message from her mother. That was the image. It's like, because I was a baby and I just had this really big smile on my face looking up at my mom as she's holding me.
Aw,
And
sweet.
it's very.
And Kim was the one that created a memorial garden for her mother with a magnolia tree and beautiful flowers.
So it says, I will melt away your grief. And thank you for reminding me of that. Because what it feels like is creating that garden. It helped you with your grief as well as strengthen the connection with her. Yes, you created it in remembrance of her, but it brings you so much joy when you see a flower coming up for the first time in the spring, or maybe you see a flower that's coming up through the snow, and it's like, thank you, Mom. Thank you for doing that. And when that happens, that's when the melting of the grief, because it's like, there might be some tears and that's okay. But I think it was really cathartic. I think that's the right word for you as well as your mom, the connection that you have with your mom.
And what I'm seeing right along those same lines, Kim, is as you are pruning, as you're thinking about your mom and you're like pruning a little flower, your mother is right next to you, right beside you. And she might be putting her hands on the flower to show you where to clip it. I mean, she's not done. She's not done teaching you, and she's not done guiding you. And she might like grab a little leaf and draw your attention to something else to show you where to clip it. She's so not done with you. And that connection of the garden with her is beautiful time for the two of you two together. Yeah, that's lovely. That's lovely. Okay. And we've got just one last one. Robin Waters Dyke said that she has Kent's pillow on her bed. Lovely. Nice. And Robin said, thank you both for sharing with us. Okay. So Harshita is a different kind of question than we normally get. So just hang in there for a minute, Sue. Hi, my name is Harshita. My date of birth, May 31, 2005. Not that that matters, Harshita, but thank you for adding that. I have a very important exam on the 26th of May. It is very important for me to crack. Please tell me I will be able to crack it, yes or no. So I think maybe, because that's not really what we do, but maybe we could ask for a message from a spirit guide to help you on that day or help you to prepare for that day. So we'll just sit in with that energy for just a minute.
I would also call on the angels to assist, because there's call on the angels, the exam angels. You know, there's task angels people forget about. And
Can
what
you
that
talk
means
about
is the
that? Yeah,
task at hand, huh?
I don't know what that means. So can you share?
Oh, the task at hand. So whatever the task at hand is, if I'm parking my car, I'm gonna call on a parking angel. If I'm driving in traffic, I'm gonna call on a traffic angel. If I'm having an exam, I'm gonna call on the exam angels or the wisdom angels or the knowledge angels or the school angels, you know, whatever word makes sense to you. Because there's angels that there's not just the archangels, there's a lot of other angels and they're just twiddling their thumbs until we ask. So you got something major going on, call on the angels.
That's a great idea. I love that. And I've heard them referred to as earth angels. And I do think that unless we ask them to do something, they're sort of not doing anything. They're just kind of waiting.
And earth angels, I typically feel that those are people that are on earth that are doing angelic things. Isn't that funny? Okay, I did pull a card. It says, I listen when you talk with me. See, that's your angel saying, hey, you want something. I'm gonna be twiddling my thumbs until and unless you ask. So absolutely calling, and this is not just for, this is for anything. If you invite the angels into your life, invite your spirit guides into your life, invite them into your day, invite your loved ones. If you had a loved one that was really good at taking tests, that's on the other side, ask them to help you out. If that was their specialty. If it wasn't their specialty, then I'd be asking somebody else. But yes, I listen when you talk with me. That's kind of a big confirmation that, yeah, they're listening. They know what's going on, whether it's our spirit guides, our loved ones, or the angels.
That's great. Harshita, I'm getting that there's a lot of pressure on you to do well on this test, maybe from outside folks, maybe from yourself. And the message that I'm getting is study, 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 study some more. And when you think you're done studying, figure out a different way to study. Figure out a different way to work with the information and get it in, and really use these days that you've got left to do your very best so you don't have to do it again. You don't have to try, passing the test another way. It just feels like there is a great deal of emphasis on you focusing and staying focused and getting refocused and get off Facebook and focus. Because I think if you're watching us, maybe you're not studying as much as you could. But I love the thought of calling in the angels and asking for other ways, new ways to study, whether if it's studying with another person, studying in a group, but there seems to be, if you don't write down note cards, start writing note cards. If you don't speak it out loud, start speaking it out loud. Whatever you're doing is fine, but add new ways to use different parts of your brain to be getting that information in.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just what I was getting there.
Perfect.
Yeah. Well, friends, thank you so very much for being here today. Sue Broome, thank you a million times. You're the best. Friends, take good care. God bless. We will be back next month. Sue, what day is that, do you think?
And we haven't, I know we're kind of playing with the time. So you'll have to watch to see the time. Monday, June 10th. Oh my gosh, June already.
Yeah. Okay. All right, friends. Take good care. God bless. We'll see you all soon.